Hey guys, it's Alexis. I'm the 2016-2017 social media coordinator for M.O.S.A.I.C. So today we're going to do a video that's a little bit different than what we usually do. I know that if you're not under a rock, you've been seeing the back-to-back killings of unarmed civilians versus police, and it's getting out of hand. So as an organization that's founded at Hampton's campus, and as you may not know or may know, Hampton is the #3 HBCU in the nation. And so how HBCUs are founded, they're typically founded because there were no institutions allowing African Americans in. So when you have that at the core of your university, you have no choice but to have black pride. So when you're seeing these killings, and I'm not saying that these unarmed killings are only of African American people. I'm sure there are other races who are having unarmed killings as well. But for this video, we're going to kind of focus on the African American unarmed killings, simply because most of us here are African American. So when you see these cases, it's not just a strip at the bottom of CNN's news screen. It's possibly your cousin, your uncle, your brother, your mom, your dad. It could be you, and that really hits home. So welcome to Good Cop, Bad Cop, What's Going On in America. Okay, so just a little backstory of what kind of got this video started. On September 16th, I think, once again, unless you were under a rock, you heard about Terrence Crutcher. He was 40 years old, and the police were responding to an abandoned car report. Somehow, at the end of an abandoned car report, there's a dead black man. Nobody can tell me how those two things coincide. There's no way that you can have me think that that's okay. The reports were two different things. It started off with an abandoned car, it ended with a dead black man. And the reports that the officers showed were he was, the typical thing. They were scared for their lives, he reached for something, he didn't know what he reached for, and they had to use lethal force. Okay. Well, video comes out, and you can clearly see him putting his hands up and backing away from the police, and he's still shot. An abandoned car turns into a dead black man. And another issue is the helicopter that was circling the case said, yeah, he looks like a bad guy, like he's on something. You're more than 20 feet in the air, and you have the audacity to say that a man you've never met is a bad man. All you see is that he is a big black man. And in your head, that equates to bad. That's an issue. Days later, not even a full week, on the 20th, Keith Scott in North Carolina was killed. Once again, the officer said that he was reaching for something, then it became he had a gun, and typical things, scared of their life. The family and neighbors around the scene said that he had a book, and he was in his car. To make matters worse, they weren't even looking for him, they were looking for another black man. But once again, a call that has nothing to do with anyone who gets killed ends up with somebody dead. Good cop, bad cop, what's going on in America? So the case that affected me the most was Sandra Bland. Not just because I'm a woman, but because I'm a woman and I'm black. And like I said before, or maybe if I didn't say it, if you're black in America, 9 times out of 10 that means you're to be feared. Just by something that you can't control, something that you didn't choose. You automatically scare somebody, and that's an issue. Yes, we all have racial biases. That's natural. That's how the world is. But when is a racial bias too much? Like, what's the cap? For Sandra Bland, it affected me because I grew up in a household that I was always taught my right out. I was always taught, these are what you do and don't have to do with the police. And she was well within her rights with the police, and somehow, days later, she killed herself. She had a job offer at a school that she had been pining over for a minute, but that wasn't enough for her to want to live. She had a family who loved her, but that wasn't enough for her to want to live. She had goals and dreams and ambition, but that wasn't enough for her to want to live. She killed herself. That doesn't make sense to me, and it will never make sense to me. And the fact that there were firings over documentation and different little things, but no firings over who killed her. And they still ruled it a suicide. They never went back to really check on it. But her parents got money from it's what, unlawful death? So somebody killed her in a wrongful manner, if I'm doing the math. but nobody killed her. Nobody wants money over their child, and you'll never be able to tell me that somebody does. As a black woman who will have black children, regardless of if I marry somebody out of my race or not, my children will be half black. And to most people, to have one drop of black blood in you is to be black. So I will have black children in a world that does not love nor respect black people. And that's a scary thought. But I do have positive experiences. My positive experience with cops is I have a family member who dates a police officer, and he is great. He mentors in the neighborhood. He tries to give people the benefit of the doubt. He always is trying to help somebody in a jam. He's just an all-around good person. And so when these cases come out and I see this overwhelmingly amount of just dread and distrust and a bit of hatred and sadness with how our justice system is, I always try to think about him and how he goes in the underdeveloped communities and really tries to help these people. Black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. He just wants to help people. He wanted to be a cop to help people, and he's sticking with that. I like that. I say we have two solutions. I'll take this, a family member told me the solution, and as much as I disagree with it, it might help slightly, but not in the way that we need it to help as much as we should. If more minorities were police officers, that means it might help seeing people who look like you in a uniform that scares you. Something familiar, so you know that you have a common ground. Because I know if we're both going through the struggle, I feel more comfortable with you arresting me than somebody who knows nothing about me, knows nothing about my struggle, arresting me, especially when I know that people who kind of look like them fear me. Another solution that I'm really down for is tests. They have 5,000 tests for college students. You got tests to get into your major, but y'all don't have a test to figure out racial bias. I feel like there should be a test, and if you have a large amount of racial bias, I don't care if it's a point system, a percentage, whatever it is, if you score a certain score, you shouldn't get a badge and a gun. If it determines that, hey, your racial bias is a little bit above the typical American, you don't get a badge and a gun. And I think that those tests should be administered at least like every 4 years. Because I'm not saying all cops go in bad, but after some experiences, you hear about other cops' experiences, you tend to like take their bias. So I feel like maybe if we have more minority cops, that might help the situation. If we have more tests, sensitivity training, I don't know. Just something that allows these people to understand that the people who you're killing are humans. They are just like you. They want to get home to their families, their loved ones. They have goals and they have dreams. And you're taking that from not just them, but from the people who they're affected. It's a ripple effect. You throw a pebble in the water, it doesn't just stop there. It has ripple effects. You kill a person, it doesn't just stop there. It has ripple effects. All right, so we have DJ here. He's going to be a guest. And DJ's going to do his Hampton intro as well as different organizations that he is involved in on campus.
Okay, so what's up, y'all? My name is Darryl Riley Jr. Y'all can call me DJ. I'm a second-year electrical engineering major from Newburgh, New York. And I'm also Mr. NAACP and also the social marketing consultant for the new organization, the Organization for Social Justice.
What is the case that affected you the most?
The case that affected me the most was similar to the case that affected you the most, Sandra Bland. His name was Michael Lepard. He was from my hometown. And the family, they got a paid settlement for the wrongful death, but no one was held accountable for his death.
If you have any, what is a positive interaction or experience that you've had with law enforcement, maybe?
As much as I want to say I did, I'm going to just say I did have a positive effect.
It can be like that sometimes, especially for black males in America.
That's a fact.
What do you think are some solutions that could help with these killings?
Well, I'm also a part of like the Organization for Social Justice, and we're talking about having like a seminar with the cops, how a cop should approach us and how should we be cooperative with the cops, because we don't want no, like, wrong events happening. We don't want another person to be a hashtag. So.
Well, thank you, DJ, for doing this video with us. Oh,
okay, all right.
Hey guys, we're here with Whitley, and here's our Hampton intro.
Hi, my name is Whitley Pennell. I am a third-year political science major on the pre-law track, leadership studies minor from Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay. What is the case that kind of got to you when it comes to like police and police brutality?
Well, it's not exactly a case, but it is an incident that I actually saw when I was a very young girl, around the age of like 7. So I was in the car with my sister and my father, and I'm from Jackson, Mississippi, as I said before. We were riding through an area called Pearl, Mississippi, and I don't know if you know about it, but it's a very like predominantly white town, and black people just know not to go through that town because you don't know if you're gonna make it out, honestly. So we were riding through that area, and we were stopped by a police officer, and as soon as he approaches the car, he doesn't even address my father in a respectful manner. He calls him boy. And that automatically threw me off because it's like, I respect my father. I see other people respecting my father and they call him sir. And then here's this white cop that comes up to my dad and says boy. And I'm just like confused. But he was just basically like very disrespectful. He asked my father like for his license and registration, and my dad, I guess, didn't get it quick enough, so he was like, you need to hurry up, boy. And it was just like crazy. And so my dad, he ended up telling my dad to get out of the car. My dad got out of the car, and he was just kind of roughhousing my dad like a little bit, like trying to like frisk him. And it was just, I don't know, like I had never like experienced that in my life. I've never seen anyone like treat my dad that way. And it's like, I don't know, we didn't even know how to react to it. My dad was looking at us through the car, like just telling us to be calm and just to stay low and just try not to get in the situation. But yeah, basically he ended up calling more cops. They checked the car to see if we had anything in the car. There was absolutely nothing in the car. And it was just a situation that just got blown out of proportion. And it really hurt me because it's like, that could have escalated. That could have gotten way out of hand. And it was lucky that we actually ended up leaving with nothing crazy happening. But it was just seeing that disrespect towards a man who doesn't deserve that at all. It just hurt me. And that's my father. Like, that's somebody I look up to. And then here's this white man just talking to him as if he's a boy, as if he's no one, as if he doesn't matter at all. So I can give you so many more instances like that where I've experienced that in Mississippi. I mean, it happens all the time. Cops there don't care. Like, they just literally don't care at all. And I mean, yeah, that's the gist of it. But yeah, it was a crazy situation that I honestly will never forget.
That's like, these are the impressions that are happening on young children. Like, these are some of your first
This is something that literally is seared into my brain. Like, I'm not gonna ever forget that.
Well, I know with DJ there was none, but I was going to ask a question. Do you have any positive interactions or experiences with police officers? And if you don't, it's perfectly fine. Like, that's the world we live in. Some people don't have them.
I can't say I've had any positive experiences with police officers. I will say this. I interned with the district attorney my freshman year. It was the summer of my freshman year. And so I had to work closely with cops because, of course, they were in the building and they were involved in some of the cases that we were dealing with. They were nice. I didn't see them treat anyone in a disrespectful manner. I never saw a case where they might have killed an individual or hurt or harmed an individual. So I will say that, but I don't have any positive experiences with police officers. I just saw good police officers in that area. But yeah, that's about it though.
It's okay. Last question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think are some solutions that can help with these problems?
Some solutions. Well, I think first we have to start talking about it. It's something that a lot of people don't talk about. Like, you see people videotaping like instances and like you'll see it on the news, but people won't actually sit down and have like a conversation about it. I think we need to get intellectuals in America, like some of the like well-known like intellectuals, like for example, Reverend Al Sharpton. He would be great like on the board of like individuals who would talk about it. We need that conversation so that it's known in America, because it's not something that's talked about at all. It's just, we just keep letting it fester and get worse and worse and worse, and we have to talk about it. Without conversation, we'll never know right from wrong.
sweeping it under the rug is not a solution.
Exactly.
Putting a band-aid on a gouging, bleeding wound that is currently happening right now in America is not going to change me.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Whitley, for being a part of this
No
video.
problem.
Go support the debate team.
Yeah, support the debate team.
And that's a wrap. So that's a wrap for this portion of our video, guys. Thank you for watching Good Cop, Bad Cop, What's Going On in America. Please comment below. We'd love to hear your feedback about these issues, about anything, honestly. What you would like to see from our channel, what you don't want to see. Once again, like, subscribe, share with your grandma, your mom, your dad. Don't really care. Also, please follow our Instagram, our Twitter, our Snapchat. I'll link all that below. If you want to email us, we accept emails as well. I'll leave that below as well. And, you know, even though we're young, we can make a change. The change starts with you. Honestly, like Whitley said, the change starts with a conversation. It's getting to a point now where you can't just ignore it. It was like that before where you couldn't ignore it. But it's getting to the point now where, aren't you tired of seeing it? And do you want that for future generations? As a woman who I hope to have plenty of little babies one day, I don't want them to look at me when they're younger and ask what's going on in the world. I want to change it now. Thank you.